Hey guys, sorry for such a delay in the video, but I had a sore throat. So, anyways, leaving aside all the excuses, I'm going to give you Act 3, Scene 1 and 2, and more scenes later. So, let's get started. So, Act 3 in Scene 1, it's set in Venice, and in the scene starts with Celerino and Celerino. Both of them are in conversation, and Celerino is delivering a bad news regarding the shipwreck that has occurred in Goodwin, and he doubts, hearing from the rumors that this ship belonged to Antonio. He thinks so, and then then Shylock enters, and they start having a conversation. Shylock is now cursing his daughter for running away, his own flesh and blood rebelling against him like this. To which Celerino then says that the difference between Shylock's flash and Jessica's flash is that of jet and ivory, and the difference between his blood and hers is that the difference between white wine, that is Rhenish wine, and red wine. So basically he's saying your daughter is nothing like you. Then Celerino asks, what good would Antonio's flesh do to you? What use it is? To that Shylock says that if it doesn't do anything else, it shall feed my revenge. I will take my revenge from Antonio for all that he has done to me and my tribe, that is the Jews. And then after having this conversation, a servant enters who asks Celenio and Celerino that Antonio wishes to speak to them at his and Antonio's house. So both of them leave, and then we see Tubal entering. Now Tubal is a friend of Shylock's. Now Tubal is quite an interesting character here, because we can see him jumping from topic to topic. He's not staying and focused on one topic. So it's like Shylock asks Tubal about any news regarding Jessica, to which Tubal says, no, I have only heard about her, but there's no real news. And then he tells him about a shipwreck that has occurred of Antonio's ship that has wrecked in Tripolis. That was coming from Tripolis, has wrecked. So Shylock becomes happy, and then he informs him that his daughter has spent 80 ducats in Genoa. So he again becomes sad. Then he again talks about Antonio, and then he again jumps over the daughter. So this is quite an interesting scene. So basically this happens, and then Antonio, basically the bottom line here is that Antonio is broke, as according to the Tubal. He's saying that Antonio is totally broke, his ships have wrecked, and the daughter Jessica is spending like crazy in Genoa. And so Shylock asks him to fee him an officer and meet at the synagogue. Synagogue is the Jew worship place at night. So basically the scene 1 ends here. In scene 2 we see Belmont, Portia's house. Now in this scene, Portia is requesting Bassanio, because Bassanio has already arrived in Belmont and wants to choose the casket right away and get done with it. But Portia is saying, do not make such a hurry, as she can help him to choose the right casket. She doesn't want him to choose the wrong casket and be gone forever, because she has developed a liking for him. But Bassanio says that he has to choose the casket right away. So she finally agrees. She asks her attendants to play background music, so that if unfortunately Bassanio loses, he will fade away in music, and if he wins, the music would be equivalent to the flourish of cornets, flourish of trumpets at a king's crowning ceremony. So she agrees, and Antonio is now have to choose the following caskets. So basically Antonio starts by criticizing the caskets gold and silver. He says all these outer appearances are deceiving. They do not do anything else than to deceive the person. They do not hold the nature that they show on the outer. So he basically rejects silver and gold casket and jumps over to the lead casket. He even says that your subtleness, your dullness appeals to me more than the greatness of these two caskets. So he chooses the lead casket and he opens it and finds Portia's picture, and then he starts describing Portia's beautiful picture, and then we know that Bassanio is the one who has chosen the right casket and he will now get a chance to marry Portia. But Bassanio himself doesn't believe that he has actually chose the correct casket and he is in such a luck. Portia tells him that no, you have won the casket, I am all yours now. And then Portia gives him a ring and tells him not to part with the ring ever. That ring shall symbolize their love. Bassanio agrees that whenever the ring is not on his finger simply means that he is dead, because he is not going to remove the ring and all his life. Then there is in the Gratiano. Now we have a Gratiano. Gratiano is willing to marry Nerissa, Portia's servant, and to which everybody agrees. So here two marriages will take place, Portia and Bassanio, and Nerissa and Gratiano. And then suddenly Celerio, Jessica and Lorenzo come. Now Celerio gives Bassanio the letter by Antonio. Now while reading this letter of Antonio, Bassanio becomes really sad, and Portia sees this and asks, what is written in such a letter that has taken all the happiness out of such a happy moment? What is the letter and who is it by? Then Bassanio tells her that the letter is from Antonio, his best friend, who is in such a trouble because of Bassanio. Then he tells her the whole story. Then she requests him that first he get married to her, and then he will own every asset that she does, and he can easily pay back Shylock triple the sum and free his friend. And then she asks him to please read the letter aloud. And when Bassanio reads out the letter, now Portia is really moved and touched. She feels that Bassanio should instantly go and help his friend. So without even marrying her, she gives him the permission to go right away. Bassanio leaves. So basically now in this scene, the scene ends. Bassanio will now go over to Venice and he'll help his friend, and Portia has a very important role to play. So please watch next video to stay in touch. So thank you so much.